said, I think a lot of times people lack situational awareness. And I think because of that, there's social consequences that come of that. Welcome to another episode of Not Yo Average Aunties, where we have a variety of topics that we talk about. Nothing's really off limits. I am your host, Key. I'm here with my co-hosts, Jay and Joe. And today we are talking about how you can quickly assess the energy in a room, understand who's running shit, who's posturing, who's cool enough to kick it with, all those things. And we're going to talk you guys through how we each do it and have a little fun with it, right? Have a little fun. But before we kick off our topic, let's run our Sing It Sis segment. Please, sing it, sis. All right. In the spirit of Sing It Sis, I want each of you to sing a lyric that represents when you realize that the room is judging you. So somebody that's judging you, what is the song you pick?
I won't say judging me, but this is my mindset every time I go into a room. Rock steady, steady rocking all night long. You
Okay.
keep the mood
Okay.
smooth, even out throughout.
Okay.
Walk in, assess, and then know how to attack your
Okay.
room.
Ooh,
Mhm.
child.
Right now. Jay, what you got?
Mine is Monica's So Gone. I'm so gone.
Move right over you. Okay. Yeah. I had two. One of them I know you guys are gonna know. The other one I know you're not gonna know, but I'm gonna sing them both anyway, because I think there's someone out there in the audience that'll know both songs. So the first one is I always feel like somebody's watching me. The next one is by Phil Collins, and it's called I Don't Care Anymore. That's the one I don't think y'all gonna know. I don't care what you say. We never play by the same rules. Anyway, I won't be there anymore. So get out of my way. Let me by. I
Yeah,
got
I know
nothing
this
to
song.
do with my time. I don't care anymore. That song. So listen to it. Phil Collins. Phil Collins. He's a legend. Anyway,
Love me some Phil
Mhm.
Collins.
I love me some Phil Collins. We're talking about quickly assessing the room. So how do you guys what's your take? How do you read a room? I got different scenarios we could play out, but let's for the sake of just a general room for this one. How do you read it? What are the first things you do?
It takes
Well,
emotional. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
anytime I go somewhere, I'm not usually the first one to start speaking other than the general hellos. I usually just go sit down, especially if I'm around people I'm not familiar with. I sit, I just watch, observe, listen before I know how to say or what to say in that room. I always assess. But that's been me with any situation that I'm in, whether I know you or not.
It definitely takes emotional intelligence to read the room. Like you have to have some type of self-awareness of yourself first and foremost. And then as you observe and look around, because let's just say for your scenario, Joe, where you say you walk in, you say the general hello, you're not quick to be diving in deep conversations. What if
Mhm.
somebody approach you? How would you adapt to that? Because now you just on guard, and I'm just here to just check out the scenery, see what's going down before I get to jiving and shooting the shit with people. But what if somebody approaches you and just want to start just vibing with you?
Then I
How
vibe back. I mean, it all depends on how the approach happened
Okay.
and what was said when they, came up to me. It depends on the vibe. I could be, "Hey, what's up, girl?" Or however, it all depends on how the person approached you.
Gotcha.
Mm, I don't disagree. So
Mhm.
I think you both said some good, valid points. I think for me, I'm checking it out before I fully engage with anyone. I try to determine if I just bust up in a room, the first thing in my mind as I'm checking out, do I even need to be there? Do it
Mhm.
let me there? Again, I hate to say it could be transactional, whatever, but this is just my mind. What kind of outcome am I looking to have here? Is it a
Mhm.
vibe? Am I here for a particular reason? Is it the vibe? Is it to get business? Is it to be a connector of sorts?
Mhm.
Depends on what capacity I'm in. Am I there to learn?
Mhm.
Right? So it's all those different things. Once
Mhm.
I know the outcome and I just decide what that's going to be, and provided that I didn't decide before I even entered the room, that
Mhm.
really determines the version of me that shows up,
Mhm.
you know? So that's kinda where I'm at with it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think walking in a room, you definitely have to observe the room. I also think you're gonna have to make some type of adjustments sometimes once in that room, depending
Mhm.
on the type of interactions that happen, because I think I would say probably all have the same kind of mindset of, "Let's see what's going down in this room or in this space before we interact with anybody." But, I mean, there are people who are say they were not outgoing. We are outgoing in different spaces, and it depends on what's going on in the room, like Kira said. But there may be sometimes where you have to have a conversation. It's what level of conversation are you having? What type of things are you disclosing in that
Mhm.
interaction? Because you're faced with a situation where somebody comes up to you, you're not gonna be rude and be like, "Get out my face." You're gonna
Mhm.
engage, but how much and at what level? Because 'Cause you're still reading the room and even the person that's now actually really in front of you. How do they approach you? How do they those kinds of things.
So now this person that approached you, is this somebody that you're well familiar with, or this is just someone being they just work in the room?
Well, I think when you walk into a rooms with people that you're familiar with, you're gonna act and behave differently than from when you walk into a room with people you
Mhm.
don't. If I come to your gatherings at your house,
Mhm.
there may be people in it that I don't know, and to your point, it'll be a "Hello, how you doing? Nice to
Mhm.
meet you," kinda thing, versus the people that I do know, it'll be more interaction, more
Action.
conversation, more
Okay.
things happening. If it's a business situation, you're walking in, trying to figure out where the hell you wanna place yourself, um,
Mhm.
in that room. Right? So maybe you don't wanna talk. Maybe you're trying to place yourself in a situation where nobody will talk to you. Probably go stand in a corner somewhere to try and watch this room. Maybe you wanna be, like, right in the front of the room because now, like you said, if I came here to learn, I may wanna be very right in the front so I can hear and see and whatever have you. So, it's
Mhm.
all depends. It's very situational, in my opinion, but I'm just thinking from, observation versus a possible immediate interaction, how you engage in that situation.
Okay.
I agree to both your points. I think you both pretty much said it in different ways, but it's situational, right? And
Mhm.
just to, as I always like to do, flip it on its head, I think a lot of times people lack situational awareness. And
Mm,
I think because of that, there's social consequences that come of that. And it doesn't matter whether a person's coming in a room, whether you know all the people, well, you know the host, and maybe
Mhm.
you know all the people, but you may know the host, and maybe you overshare. Maybe there's mistension signals like this. Some people lack situational awareness, and so much so that they miss tension that is in the room. They miss it all. They just don't realize what's going on. They're talking too much, sharing too much stuff.
'cause I think it's about them. Things
Maybe, maybe they think it's about them. I mean, there's also a certain type of person that I feel like they're locked in their privilege bubble. So when I think about other people that just have a certain way of moving within the room, and
Mhm.
they didn't a lot of times how we show up, it has to deal with how we grew up, right?
Mhm.
And certain experiences we had. So throughout our lifetime. So I feel like sometimes what I mean by locked in their privilege bubble, in the fact that they can navigate through a room just saying all types of willy-nilly stuff because maybe they never experienced any consequences.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean by privilege, right? Of their
Mhm.
actions growing up. So they can be like just crazy. I think on the flip side of that, I think that people that experience trauma, in any case, they're always hyper aware. They
Mhm.
tend to be more aware of, all right, this person in the corner ain't saying
Mhm.
too much. This person over here keeps talking about how much money he got. Da, 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 da,
Mm. Mm.
boisterous. I got a lot of real estate. I got this. I got that. Then this girl in the corner just you see watching everybody.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then you got the couple in the corner that actually were arguing, whispering, arguing, but trying to play
Mhm.
it safe, like trying to. These are things that people miss
Mhm.
when you're watching, when you're assessing it. You
Yeah.
need to be all right.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
people miss all that stuff. The girl who maybe dressed, very nicely, but she came by herself. You could tell she's single. She's there for him on a mission. You know,
Mhm.
to find her mate now. So and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's just I think that sometimes people, like I said, they lack situational awareness, and it can cause it has consequences to that.
Situational awareness, social cues.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I feel they miss those big time. Like, when you're in an environment and everybody's engaging in a conversation and you choose to be down in your phone instead of engaging in that conversation,
Mm,
what's
Mhm.
going on, like, what's going on there? I think it could be a number of reasons. Either this person doesn't know how to interact and doesn't know how to engage with people, or they feel like this conversation they don't want nothing to do with this conversation,
Mhm.
they don't care, or they're too self-absorbed. Many different reasons why, but or to your point, like certain things that happen in the room and they're not keen in on these things, or people say something, people act a certain way. The social cues are there. It's like, or
Mhm.
somebody like should the oversharing. Do you know when not to overshare? When, or do you realize in your moment of oversharing, I need to sit back and shut up and be quiet, and nobody really cares.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So a lot of these things I think are also, and you mentioned it with the privilege bubble, but I think it's not even just a privilege bubble. I think it's anybody who doesn't know how to navigate spaces. Is they learn these things early.
Mm,
They learn it from their home. They learn it from and either either they can grow out of it, if especially if it's not serving them well, or they'll
Mhm.
continue because they choose to ignore the things that either people have expressed to them, like you're not picking up, you're not paying attention to these social cues, or people are trying to tell you, maybe you could have did something a little bit differently, whatever, but they don't care. They want to continue to behave the way that they behave, and they continue to do that. These things are learned behaviors, and some people just don't change. Is I guess what I'm getting at.
mm. Yeah. You're right. Some people don't change.
They don't change, and it's I don't know. I just feel like I think the how to read the room is the social cues I think go hand in hand, because it's just not who's in the room, how they're acting and what they're doing, but also what they're saying and what you're doing and what you're saying, which comes back to I guess the self-awareness is added to that.
I agree. I agree.
This is why I don't talk when I first walk into a room. I rather just watch.
I mean, you can
But
I pick up on a lot of stuff, especially depending on where you decide to sit at when you go in a room.
expound
You
on.
can see everything.
Oh, you mean when you personally decide to
Me
sit?
and me, yes.
Mhm.
but I still think it depends, because sometimes it does lend yourself, or it is sometimes advantageous of you to say something, but it depends. Like, I don't think every room that you walk into, let's just say you're going for networking.
Mhm.
You're trying to either make some connections or whatever have you. You walking into that room being quiet is not going to serve you well in that type of.
Right.
No, when I walk in the room, I say hello to everyone.
It's got to be more than
I'm
hello.
saying people usually, engage with you. They'll come and walk up to you and say hello. But I'm just not gonna have a full-fledged conversation with anybody until I've assessed the room. I don't have a problem speaking as I'm walking through, but I'm gonna find a spot, and depending on who's there that I know, I may go up to that person first and have a small conversation with them before I start networking.
But in the scenario that I just described, a networking event where you
Yeah, a
go.
networking event, that's what I'm talking about. I don't have a problem when I'm first walking in saying hello as I walk through. I'm just not gonna be silent. You're supposed to say hello when you walk into a room.
But networking is more than hello, is what my point
I
is.
know it's more than hope. Okay.
So I'm asking you,
I'm
am I
telling you how I operate when I'm going to a net because I've been to a few. I was just at one a few weeks ago. When I first walk in, I say hello to everyone as I'm walking through, but I'm also looking for the person that I came or I was invited by first.
okay,
I don't just start networking off the rip. My
okay.
thing is always walking in. I'll say hello as I'm walking through the crowd, but I'm not going to start a full-fledged conversation until I'm comfortable. That's just me. That's me observing as I'm walking through. That's me making eye contact with certain individuals who's making eye contact with me. And then I know how to assess and who do I go to first.
Gotcha.
9 times out of 10, I'm going to the person that invited me, and then I start moving around the room.
Okay. I could see that case. So let me flip it on its head. What if you went to a networking event and you didn't know anybody?
I'm doing the same thing. Usually when you walk in, you'll say hello. Now, if somebody stopped you and immediately wants to have a conversation, it depends on how that conversation goes. But 9 times out of 10, the networking events that I've been to, there have been a few that I wasn't invited by anybody.
Mhm.
I usually just walk into the room. I'll say hello. I'll get situated, hang up my coat. If they're not taking coats at the door, I get whatever pamphlets is at the table when you first walk up. I want to get comfortable first before I start maneuvering around the room. And usually the first people that I start going up to is the ones that immediately made eye contact with me
Mhm.
as I'm walking through the crowd. Those are the people that I go up to first.
How do you
I
start
don't wait for them to come to me. 9 times out of 10, I'm usually the person going up to them.
Mhm. What are there any particular ways that you start the conversation? Any this question for both of you. When you have entered the room, you read it, now you
Mhm.
wanna have, start up a conversation with somebody. Is there any particular way that you would start it?
No, just I'll go up, say hello, how you doing? How long you been here? Depending on what the seminar is about or what the networking event is about. Because there's different events for different reasons. So there was one that I went to and they said if you use these 3 lines when you go up to someone, which is I guess how we talked about in a previous one where you gave your name, you gave the company that you worked at, and what do you do?
Mm.
Something in that realm, and then the conversation will go from there depending on what was said. But it ain't never been nowhere, "How much do you make?" and things like
Yeah, no.
that. Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
No, I was gonna even think maybe even the what do you do mean? It depends on what the networking event is. If it's an industry
Mhm.
event, usually it's almost the same industry, so everybody's probably there for because they probably in that industry anyways, and it may not be. But I don't know if it's the what do you do would be one of my questions. Definitely be hello, make an introduction, like tell them my name, ask them their name,
Mhm.
ask them maybe what brought them here.
Mhm.
And then or have they ever been to one of these before? And if so,
Mhm.
how did they what did they think about it? Especially if I'd never been before. So it'd be more around the actual event itself, and then as the
Mhm.
conversation goes on to learn more about them if it leads there. But I probably wouldn't
Mhm.
even ask them what they do out the gate.
No, I would yeah. It
Mm.
again, it's situational.
Yes.
I think one of the things that tactic that I've used to, spin up a conversation in any room, don't matter whether it's networking, don't matter whether it's a dinner party with a whole bunch of people, I don't know. I try to
Mhm.
find something and I'm being authentic here. I legit try to find something about the person that I'm going to approach that I like to
Mhm.
compliment.
Okay.
As far as human nature, whether it's hair, earrings, a blazer, the dress, the suit, the shoot, whatever. Because human nature is, it softens the blow for them. It softens the blow for me because I legit being authentic. Like I do think it's nice, and people
Mhm.
like to talk about themselves.
Mhm.
People love to talk. Most people. If you
Mhm.
compliment them, it softens it. Think about somebody comes up to you, be like, "Oh my gosh, I love that shirt." Why
Mhm.
can't even if you're tense and you're nervous, and especially if I see somebody that I know that no one's talking to,
Mhm.
Mhm.
maybe they don't know how to network, because that could be daunting sometimes.
Yeah.
I will walk up to, "Hey, Imma find something on them. Hey, I
Mhm.
like this shirt." Naturally, it gives them a, "Oh, thank you." And they
Mhm.
loosen up a little bit. "Hey, what brought you here?" You know what I mean? And then that's how you can, and next thing you know, the conversation is taking it on a,
Whole nother, yeah.
that's usually my go-to to kind of like start up, and then they may or may not, depending on how it goes. Somebody else comes over, then I
Mhm.
politely excuse myself because now them two are talking, and then keep working that room. That has worked well for me in many situations because sometimes it is hard to network, but at the same time, as I'm reading the room, especially in the office setting,
Mhm.
we were talking about networking, but I want to flip this a little bit differently. Let's say you're going into a meeting and you don't know all the players in there. Maybe you're new. You walk into a meeting. Let me set the stage. You walk into a meeting, you have a younger person who's sweating, they're presenting, right? They
Mhm.
get up and present. They shuffling with fucking AV cords and stuff to try to get their thing up there, trying to on the computer. It's coming up. My presentation got, that you could tell. You could always, well, I'm giving it away, but they're like,
Mhm.
uh, get the presentation up on the thing. You got someone else on their phone on Slack, not paying attention, not offering help, right? You may have another person. So now the younger person is presenting. You got two people on Slack not paying attention. You
Mhm.
got one person dominating the conversation as the person is presenting, constantly questioning, but trying to own the presentation. And then you may have another person who could be the director, put any title you want, that's not even looking up at anybody as they are asking a question. Y'all remember all the players?
The young person
One person,
presenting
two people on Slack, just
Like, that's not paying attention.
one person trying to dominate the conversation,
and the
Mhm.
director.
and another person who may not be the director, the dominating. The director is literally just
On the phone.
not even looking.
Yeah. No, I separated the two, but go ahead.
Okay. So
Mhm.
in that respect, who's the one that's posturing?
It could be I'm thinking of two people.
The two people that
I'm thinking the
are on
one
their
that's
phone.
finding out at the conversation, and if I know it's the director because he's not even giving me no time of day.
I
Like,
was you said the one that's dominating the conversation, trying to dominate. To me,
I said it yeah, go ahead.
The two
yeah,
people on Slack.
I was gonna when it did that posturing to me, the people on Slack, they're just being disrespectful.
Yeah, not them. I'm thinking about the
To me,
direct
I'm thinking they're posturing because they're not paying attention because they don't think they need to pay attention at this present moment. And to me, they're posturing
they don't
because
mean nothing to the one
they don't
presenting.
think that you deserve their attention type
They don't.
thing.
To me, my presentation is for that director there, more
Mhm.
so than anybody else. So if he does not pay me no mind, I feel like he's posturing because I'm not impressing him, and he's making it very much clear that I'm
Mhm,
not. And then the
Mhm.
person that's overtaking the conversation because they're trying to be the star.
that's where I'm getting at. Usually when people posturing, they're trying to be the star. They wanna position themselves as again, it's so I love doing this stuff because we have almost different answers, and this is how you read the room.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm coming in as a newbie, and I've literally been in situations like that, coming in because of my consultative background and having to
Mhm.
be in these rooms where I'm watching the whole social hierarchy dynamics, and I'm like, yeah." Then I will go up to the person that was posturing to learn.
Mhm.
I try to pull things out, and they'll inevitably they're trying to get a promotion. They're trying to steal the show, steal the
Mhm.
thunder.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, the poor junior analyst is sweating and shit, then put all the work in, and I feel for that person too, you know?
Mhm.
So, it's interesting how, I wanted to present that scenario because I see how we all think a little bit differently, but it's all about reading the room, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it shows how people read the room differently.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies, Devil Wears Prada.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Yo.
That
So
movie. Yeah. Let's get into this lovely auntie's case.
Welcome to Auntie's Court. Court is now in session.
All right, welcome to another auntie's court case. This one is rather interesting because we're in the age of social media and people get riled up off the posts. Um, all this the people versus bot/rage baiting. You know what? Before I even go on this whole diatribe, let's just run it.
The best ways to drain people's energy nowadays is via the internet. This woman is a astrophysicist. Actually, this is not how space works. Read a book. Now I just wait for the comments to come in. Hey, can you mansplain any louder? Yeah, sure. These are all different accounts that I have set up. The energy you get this way isn't quite as pure, but if you do enough of it, it'll fill you up. Shanghai sucked. Where was the Chinatown? Jason Mraz is just too weird for me. Jesus actually hates horses. Childhood obesity, LMFO. When they call you a dumbass, you know you've got them.
I can't.
All right. All right. What's your initial reaction when you see that clip?
This nigga had too much time on his hands.
Get a life.
no. um,
First is to level set the playing field. This
Yeah.
is it's from a show called What We Do in the Shadows. So he's an actor and it's I guess a reenactment or from a show called What We Do in the Shadows. However, we all know stuff if you didn't know, stuff like this happens.
Mhm.
It happens and it happens even more now that with AI cuz you could just do it even faster, quicker, faster. All right, but
Uh-huh.
now given the fact that these things happen, what's your initial reaction?
I think well, when he says, now that they call me a dumbass, I got him. So it's
Mhm.
like, you fell for the trap. You fell for the bait because you let something that's probably so insignificant to you in your life, or maybe not. Maybe something is. Maybe it triggered something that you felt the need to argue with somebody you don't even know who they are, and or if they are even human. Like, I can't. I read comments and I watch some of the back and forth too. Probably not as calling people dumb
Intense.
stuff like that, but like you'll see a post and they'll be like, it'll be like somebody has kids and they acting this way and this that, and then in real life they don't even have kids. So why are you arguing
Yeah,
about these people? They don't even got no damn kids.
yeah.
So it's like it's comical to me. I think it can be. I don't know if it could be dangerous if they cannot find the people, but let's just say they did find the people.
Mhm.
That could be catastrophe. I just feel like people got too much time on their hands to one be rage baiting people and two for the people to be arguing. What are you doing with your life, people?
People
I'm
are
not
just
arguing with, I'm not arguing with nobody. I don't know that they what
mm-mm.
I say before it can't don't impact my life, my salary, my livelihood. I can't. I don't have the energy.
It's nuts. I think that so I used to think when I used to see these rage baiting posts, like at least maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I thought it was a money grab because it
Mhm.
was a way to build up engagement. And back then, you know, platforms pay folks now, but back then the money that they was given was much more higher. So and it
Mhm.
based on the amount of followers you have. So when you had somebody puts up a crazy post, the reality is people they get follows. They get likes and follows off of that because somebody agreed. No matter how crazy it is, somebody agreed. Or they
Mhm.
just like the toxicity of it, right?
Mhm.
So I thought it was like a money grab. But I do believe I think differently now because the platforms are still paying, but not like they were.
Mhm.
I just think people legit get a kick, like he mentioned, off of that stuff. They get, and here's how I know for sure. On YouTube, I had made a comment about
Mhm.
something I was watching, and I made a comment, and this guy was literally going back and forth with me. And you guys know you gonna give it first nicely, and then depending. And I was doing my nice little thing, and he literally came back and he said to me, he goes, "Listen, it's all good. I'm retired, so Imma just keep talking my shit. This is all I do all day." And I tell you, I fell out. I felt because it was like proved my theory. Like these people, he's like, "I'm retired. I got nothing else to do all day but go." He said, "This is a great conversation, great debate." He said, "But I'm
Mhm.
gonna basically go on and try to rage bait somebody else." You know, 'cause he couldn't do it with me. But it
Like
was an eye opener. People legit, they do it. They don't care. They want you to get you riled up. I think in the age of social media, I think we have that. I think we have people that are too damn sensitive.
Mhm.
Too sensitive. Like you could literally like I'm not making a joke. Like I could put a post up if I'm on Threads and say, "I like white bread."
We go back to the whole analogy.
I'm just saying, no, I
No.
like white bread. And I kid you not, somebody's gonna come back and be like, "What happened with the wheat bread? What's about, Ezekiel bread? You just someone's always gotta have something negative to say.
To say.
You eating bleached flour, you gonna die. All this stuff they come back with this craziness. And it's like I think people are lonely. I think they'll never have those types of conversations in person. So they wanna beef
Mhm.
up. And I think some people find it as a source of entertainment.
Yeah.
yeah, it
I
makes you think.
fully find it
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it makes me think about the documentary we seen with when the mother was putting posts up and sending texts to the daughter and the daughter's
Yes. That's
boyfriend and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah. It's
And
crazy.
then I think and then the movie. I don't know if you ever seen. Have you seen Clickbait? I think it was on
I
Netflix.
might have. I probably
Yeah.
mhm.
Mhm.
With that too. I'm like these people. I think about catfish. I think about all those things.
All of it. I'm about to put a post up right now that says I like rainbows. And I bet you somebody gonna come back and be like, you're gay. You're
You're not
racist.
a
You're racist
unicorn.
and you're anti-black because ain't no the color black ain't in the rainbow. They be saying weird shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got you must be a Republican. Listen,
Oh my
people are
gosh.
weird. People
This
are
is why I find this so comical. I tell you, I go into the comments and I don't respond. There's only a few posts that I've actually looked at and gone into the comments and made a comment. But I try to restrict that because I know how I can get if somebody come at me left. So to avoid that, I just don't make comments. I may share your post. I may like your post. I may say wow to it, but to go into a debate with other people because they don't have no life. You got people sitting on the computer all day or on their phone all day, and that's all they do. They ain't got nothing else better to do but to sit there and argue with somebody on social media. Like that's the highlight of their day. No.
I mean, I say the people who are out there putting a post up and the people who are out there actually engaging in the post, they both need to go get a life. I can't.
Internet bullies.
And so I like I'll read the comments, but I don't add to them like on with people are debating and going back and forth. I don't get into any of those debates.
Yeah.
I just kind of and I laugh at them. I add comments for things that I like and the more positive stuff. Follow this account who recommends, great TV shows and stuff like to watch and commentary. Sometimes you do like watch shows for you to actually
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
so I'll comment on stuff like that because she shares stuff that's similar to me as well. When she shares certain things. Other than that, I don't comment on people pages. I read comments on posts because I want to see what's happening before I even like the post. Like I read the caption, I read the comments.
Mhm.
I'm just very leery with the socials.
Yeah.
How I engage.
But even with who you talking about, there's been people that's come on her post, not a lot of them, but have negative things to say about the suggestions she's made. And I'm like, if you don't like the content that she's giving, move on.
They was coming at her for the daggone crock she put up. I'm like, child, please go get a life.
Get a life. That's the thing. People are gonna have something negative to say about anything. You could be talking about flowers. You could talk about a cute baby. And you know damn well that baby ugly. Everybody got something, and I find that those are miserable. And, and to your point, it's no sense of usually if I'm going back and forth, like I said, I take the high road usually. I'll do a couple of iterations of that. And then if it gets too crazy and I got to say something, to shut him up. But in this instance, it was so funny because he was not being disrespectful. We were just debating a situation.
Okay. But you didn't take it to hell.
No, I didn't take it to hell. The crazy thing is, no, I didn't need to take it to hell because he didn't make me go there. We were whatever. I can't remember.
It was healthy conversation. It was a healthy debate.
But he was trying to get a little. Each one was a little bit more. Like he was going lower.
He wasn't giving him like that's why he told you, I'm retired, girl. Go on about your life because I'm going to go on about mine.
I wasn't giving him, the energy that he was looking for, But it was funny to me. I was just like, dude, like, I wanted to say you need to come back a little harder. Maybe you'd have got that, but he didn't, But and it's crazy how I could remember that engagement that he and I had.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even tell you what we were commenting about. I don't remember. I don't remember the video. I don't even remember. But that stood out in my mind. Like it just proves that people got time on their hands. People got time on their hands.
Too much time.
Too much time. and people don't realize that there are people like this.
Yeah.
That exist.
I even think about some of the posts that they go down they have this whole story and all this kind of stuff. And they don't tell you how to get to the information that they're sharing. Like what you get on.
That's baiting. That's baiting.
I know. It is. It's a different kind of bait, right? It's like, oh, this product or whatever, or this show, this whatever. Never name the show. Never tell you where you can go find it at. And everybody in the comment, what's the name of the show? Can you please tell me the name of the show? I've been waiting. I asked the same question, and it's all of that. And I'm like, why y'all even commenting? Because they didn't plan on telling you the information to begin with.
You have to rely on somebody else if it's a show. Oh, I know this.
Somebody right.
Yeah.
But it's funny, looking at the video, I always had a vision that it was probably like that of somebody in a room with all these big screens in front of them. But to see it visually like that, where he had, 6 laptops?
Yeah.
And like 4.
Yeah, it's fictitious, though. It's
I was going to say.
You ain't even got to need all that. You can have.
Exactly.
That shit on your phone. You know
all you need is one computer and multiple windows.
That's it. You don't even need all of that. I think they try to draw that out so they could illustrate
the level of intensity that somebody will go through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's wild. So
Crazy.
I think, guys, pick this court case to raise awareness. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for it. Don't let nobody on the internet, be so tough with you. Walk away. Don't let them raise your blood pressure for no reason. And
Mhm.
for you guys that are actually doing the rage baiting, I mean, like I always say, live your life, right? That's what you want to do. Not going, you're doing it for a reason. Hopefully you get the outcomes you're looking for, child, because I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wonder if I don't know. Are they getting a climax out this shit? I don't know.
People are weird. You never know what's going on behind. Never know. He could be having a private session with him. So, oh, they called me an asshole.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
Woo! You never know. People are weird.
I know.
So as always, I will say, your journey is yours. Whatever journey you on, whatever path you on, make it yours. Live your life for you. We bring you these episodes, for a little bit of joy, a little bit of raising awareness, and a little bit of, banter back and forth because that's what we like to do. Anything in this episode resonated well with you, I would absolutely, positively love it if you shared. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If there's something that you want us to cover off on, send us an email at nyaapod1@gmail.com. Send an email. We'll be happy to cover it. And keep tuning in. Like, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. Deuces.